My due discharge is going to the rage room where I break glass with a wooden bat. Well, let's talk briefly about discharge. Discharge is not just lashing out in anger. The rage room sounds fantastic. It can be a really good opportunity for people to feel their stuck energy and to actually utilize it in some way, in a healthy way, in a healthy, aggressive way. So yeah, when it comes to discharge, it's not just like getting angry and unleashing hell upon glass or another person, because if it was, domestic violence would not be a thing. Like the abuser would lash out and they'd be fine. But that's not the case. The reality is that when it comes to actually discharging, there's a mindfulness piece of it that has to be present. And in order to do so, there has to be some level of safety available. So when it comes to rage rooms or whatever else people do, I like to go swimming, or even pushing up against a wall. Like if you have some aggression, you want to push against the wall and feel it. You have to first be able to stay in your safety state and not let that defensive stuff get out of hand. But before that, you have to build up the capacity to feel safe. And then when you go to break stuff, or in a rage room maybe, or push against the wall, or go swimming, then you have to actually feel. Not just angry. Remember, it's not just feeling the emotion, but it's also feeling the sensations underneath that emotion. So you have to actually notice and feel your muscles tensing and feel that heat and feel that come out in a sense. And you have to be okay with it. And that could be very challenging for people who don't have the safety pathways built up enough to tolerate it. I know for me, like when I've done some, I would consider fairly deep meditations and really started to feel stuff on a very biological level. At first, when that sympathetic energy returns or begins to surge out of you, for me, it felt like panic at first. And if I had not had the polyvagal knowledge and my own safety anchors to breathe through it, that could have easily been overwhelming. And I would have I felt the impulse when I was doing that, when I felt that come up and I was panicking. And my thoughts went to, oh my God, my heart is stopping and I'm going to die. When that's normal. When the stuff comes up, you're not ready for it. Your mind is going to go there and it feels like death is imminent, or it can. And so when I do that, if I didn't have enough safety activated, I would just open my eyes and I would say, I'm done, I'm not doing this again. And all that would do is reinforce the stuck energy I have inside of me. And so when that came up, I reminded myself, no, I'm literally safe. Staying my eyes closed and just staying in my chair. And I reminded myself, I'm literally safe. I can breathe. My heart's not going to stop. So having those top-down things helped me out. But I also knew that I could control my breathing. I could slow it down. I could relax. And that it's safe, that it's okay to feel these things, and that other people have done it as well. And I was prepared for this. I had read about Peter Levine, or not about him, but I read deeply into his work, and I knew what to expect. And so I was like, this is just part of the process. I know this is going to happen. And so as that energy surged, what at first felt like panic, it turns into something else, because you move beyond just the emotional experience of it. And then you begin to really tap into and feel the somatic pieces of it. And it turns into this energy discharge, and it turns into this waves of release. It turns into, for me, it feels staticky and tingly. And so it's this whole other thing. I did one, like a fairly deep meditation where the experience of the discharge was, it felt like I felt it on my chest mostly, but mostly right here, my belly to my chest. And I was laying in bed looking up, and as it surged through me, I could feel this like tingly, staticky, like static for like, again, this is my mind trying to explain what's happening. They're, static on old TV sets, like Poltergeist style, where it's like, shh. So I would feel this like staticky stuff all over, and it felt like on a very cellular level. And I don't know if that's true or not, but it felt like it. And then in my mind, I had this image of fireworks and colors popping off of me. And it was this very dischargey experience that it wasn't an emotion. It was something different. It was very much what was happening in my body. I think on a cellular level, I have no idea if that's accurate or not, but it doesn't really matter for this purpose. So if you can feel the stuck defensive energy as it is, not exactly as an emotion, so not just as anger, but as something happening in your muscles, in your biology, and you're okay with that and you can feel it, then something really kind of beautiful happens. It turns into something else. And it's this really neat experience.